Tomorrow marks a year since Channel 2 lost a dear colleague. Scott Brown died after battling cancer.
Scott was one of the original Redcoats. He asked the tough questions and he told stories that would touch your heart. But one of those never made it on air until now. Channel 2's Claudine Ewing is here now to complete Scott's final piece. Claudine?
And I'm so glad that we can do this. It's really hard to believe that it's been almost 1 year. It will be 1 year tomorrow. Scott Brown worked here at Channel 2 until he couldn't work anymore. Often he told stories about people receiving the gift of life. He would do stories on kidney donors and recipients. He even had a phone bank set up after his stories. The last story he worked on that never aired was about a kidney transplant at ECMC. We want to share Scott's story of two people who are now forever connected.
I am so excited, I can hardly contain myself.
It's not often that you get to change someone's life, forever and for better. Debbie Hughes of Lockport is waiting to meet Steve Small of Jamestown.
It is them. Steven?
She's going to be giving him the best Christmas gift ever.
How are you?
One of her kidneys.
I'm so glad you're here. How are you?
Good.
For Debbie, it all started when she saw this posting on Facebook from some kids whose parent needed a kidney. And although that person found a donor, Debbie, who had begun going through a screening process at ECMC, decided that donating one of her kidneys was something that she was really called to do.
I really wanted to do something to make a mark in this world, and so I wanted to do something to help someone in a tremendous way.
Debbie was told of a website called the Western New York Kidney Connection, where people who are in need of a kidney transplant post their profiles in the hope that someone will be touched by their story.
It's not easy working and then coming home to hook up to a dialysis machine for 9.5 hours a night. God has helped me through some difficult times, and I believe that there is someone out there that can give me the gift of life. I pray for the day of transplant.
Debbie was so moved by Steve's posting that she chose him as her recipient. And although she and Steve had been emailing back and forth for weeks, this was the first time that they were meeting, the night before surgery.
Have you thought about how you say thank you to her?
I don't know.
Thank you's good enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you's good enough. That's all I need.
It's the morning of surgery, and we're right in the operating room. Dr. Lise Kaler, the head of ECMC's transplant program, is going through the delicate process of removing one of Debbie's kidneys. The surgery is done laparoscopically, which is not as invasive and will allow Debbie to have a faster recovery. It takes about 3 hours to remove Debbie's kidney.
It's a hugely heroic act. Every time one comes along that wants to donate to somebody they don't even know.
I'm so happy to see you.
Just 2 days later, we're back at the hospital. Debbie is able to walk down the hall to Steve's room to see how he and her kidney are doing.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Hello. Oh, goodness. How you feel?
Good.
Thank you. You feel good?
Yeah.
Really? It's doing good for you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Steve has a present for Debbie, one that couldn't be more appropriate. It's a guardian angel necklace.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, thank you. Can we be forever friends?
Forever. That's right.
This is Claudine Ewing. We wanted to see how Debbie and Steve are doing nearly a year and a half later. We met up with them on the kidney floor at ECMC where their lives changed. And Debbie's name is on the donor wall. Steve can only smile about life now.
Great, super. Moved to Rochester, have a new job, feeling great, loving life.
It doesn't cost anything. It just takes the heart to do something right for someone else. Even if it was a stranger, now he's family.
And they also had to reflect on Scott Brown, the reporter who was eager to tell their story.
He always made you feel so comfortable, and he was right there to answer any questions for you all the time, and he was just a really great guy. And it was just a really sad ending to to our story, because we were heartbroken when we heard he was gone.
Now Scott's story about their story is being told.
It's great that we can promote kidney transplant, and that hopefully there'll be more donors like Deb out there that would step up and be heroes.
April is Donate Life Month. Debbie is now a donor mentor at ECMC, and this summer she's going to the transplant games in Utah. Something that really moved Steve and Debbie is that the day of the transplant, December 5th, that was Scott's birthday. He was at the hospital 5 a.m. for the surgery, and during that time, they never knew he was ill. Michael.
And what a way to pay tribute to Scott, because he would so want this story to be told. And what a story it is for her to do this, and the connection that they now have.
Absolutely.
We know Scott was so passionate about these kidney stories too. And when you reflect back on his life, as we all did about a year ago now, you can see how many lives were touched by what he did.
And we should also know that this is something that Scott would have done. Yeah. Scott would have been going back to these folks a year later. How are you doing? What are you doing? Is life good for you? So this is our best way to pay tribute to somebody that we miss in our newsroom.
Absolutely. Great to see them reconnect there, and thank you so much for being able to put this on TV. Absolutely. Stay with us. More Channel 2 News at 6 right after this.